Hello, Yellow Jacket fans. It's time for a timeout with freshman Rand Rowland. Rand, what's been the highlight of your freshman season thus far?
The game when we beat Illinois, that was a lot of fun. That was one of the first times I realized, just how awesome it was to be right there on the front lines during a Division I college basketball game.
And Rand, the team's dealt with a lot of injuries so far this season. How do you think they've handled them?
I think we've handled it extremely well. Guys have gone down. Some people we knew might have to go out, like Jason was expecting to have a surgery at some point in the season, and then others were unexpected. But I think, Coach has done a great job of making some adjustments, and everybody's been ready. When their number got called, Ronnie and Brooks been able to step up when we needed them. So I think we've handled it really well.
And speaking of Ronnie and Brooks, they're along with you a member of the Iron Five. How do you describe the dynamic within the scout team?
I mean, it's different from the scholarship players in a way that, we know that unless something extreme happens like that, we may or may not get called, but we always have to be ready. And our job is to work hard and to improve and prepare for that time so that we can be ready to help the team in any way that we're called upon to do so.
And Rand, what goes into emulating an opponent, sort of trying to mimic their offense, mimic their defense? How difficult is that?
The difficult part is trying to learn another team's playbook in just a few minutes sometimes, because obviously when they're doing it, they've been practicing it since preseason and training. We're trying to mimic exactly the way they do it after working on it for 30 minutes. So it's a lot mentally to take in at one time and then be able to reproduce well enough to represent the other team so that our guys can get ready for it.
And Rand, you're a freshman here on the Flats. How did you end up coming to Georgia Tech, and did basketball play a role in your decision?
Basketball did. I knew I wanted to play in college, and I figured that I would take the chance and try to go to a bigger school, because this is Georgia Tech, the ACC. This is basketball at its best, but also the academics here at Georgia Tech and it being in-state really factored into that decision as well.
And can you talk to us about your summer leading up to this season, and kind of how did you figure out you were on the team exactly?
Well, that's a funny story. I was able to come to a few open gyms after talking with Coach Pastorino, and then they invited me to come to practice when I started classes. And I thought that I was in a tryout period, and there was never really a moment where Coach explicitly said, shook my hand, "Congratulations, Rand, you made the team. Welcome to the Yellow Jackets." But I just one day I showed up and I was in normal clothes, and they said, "We got a jersey waiting for you in the locker room. You need to hurry up and change. You're late." And then they gave me another practice jersey and then measured me for a game jersey and stuff, and I was like, "Hey, I guess I'm on the team."
Good stuff. And Rand, your older brother Scott went to Tech. Did he give you any tips about life at Tech, or perhaps some of his study habits?
He's been a huge help. I actually, when I first got here for summer classes, lived with him. As far as just getting around Atlanta, which was a big deal for me coming from a small town, and talking about how to sign up for classes, which professors and you want to take, and just really getting adjusted to college life. He was a huge help.
And Rand, you mentioned living in a big town like Atlanta. You're obviously from a small town. What do you like about Atlanta so far, and what do you perhaps not like so much?
I love the availability. It seems like any time of day, anything you want to do is right there for you. I love that. Some of that small town outdoors feel, still gets to me sometimes, and I miss that. But I love being here in Atlanta.
And Rand, in your free time, when it's not basketball season, you don't have homework to do, how do you like to spend it?
I love playing other sports like golf or tennis or throwing a football around, something like that.
Simple enough. And then the NBA Slam Dunk Contest was just this past weekend. If there was an Georgia Tech Slam Dunk Contest, who do you think would win that?
Who would win? If he was healthy, I would say Jason Morris.
Okay.
Right now, I might have to give it to Stacy Poole, depending on how creative Daniel Miller can get.
Okay, what do you think Stacy's final round dunk would be?
He loves to finish backwards, so I'm sure he'd be doing something and end up finishing backwards.
Do you have a special dunk?
Not yet, but I'm working on it.
Working on it. Good to hear, Rand. We'll keep working on it. We enjoy having you here as a member of the Iron Five and on Tech basketball team. Once again, it's been a timeout with freshman Rand Rowland here on Ramble Rec 2. Go Jackets.